Hello, everyone. I am Lily Mae, creator of the Glambitious brand, and I'm excited to bring another dynamic speaker to you today. As you know, the Glambitious brand was created as a one-stop shop for entrepreneurs so that you can have speaking opportunities, you can have access to information, ebooks, and webinars, and you can also access income generating opportunities. So, I aim for this platform to be a one-stop shop for women around the world to gain the opportunities and the resources they need to thrive in their passion. I'm very excited to continue this virtual series by introducing different dynamic women and allowing them to share their expertise. Make sure you visit our website just to learn a bit more about what we do and what we have available. It's theglamceo.com. And you can also follow us on social media at Glambitious IAM. And if you want to follow me, my page is at I am Lily Mae. So without further ado, I'm going to let our guest speaker, Crystal, take it away here. There you go.
All right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it and appreciate the opportunity. This is a wonderful platform, so I'm really happy to be a part of it. But welcome, everybody. Thank you guys for joining in. I just want to ask you guys just to kind of like sit back, relax, and just allow yourself to be poured into. So today I want to talk to you all about personal branding and personal brand alignment and the importance of it, right? So I'm Crystal Nichole. As mentioned, I'm Crystal Nichole. I'm a personal brand clarity coach, and I do just that. So I help women that are confident, multifaceted, women of change. I help them to find clarity and how to bring all the elements and facets of them into an alignment. I also really am an advocate and teach them on how to brand themselves, at least before their business. And most importantly, how to show up and operate in spaces as their most authentic self, right? So that's all done through personal branding. And I really take everyone through a process of this, of like really understanding what that means. So I want to do the same thing with you. I'll be taking you today just kind of through what that process looks like and how you can get on the path to finding clarity in what your personal brand is and defining that, right? So I do have notes. So I'm just real transparent. So if I'm looking down, I'm looking at my notes because I want to make sure I don't miss anything and I give y'all what what needs to be given. Okay. So the biggest misconception, or maybe it's not a misconception, but I really want to talk about like the difference between brand and branding, right? So brand, and if you guys, I'm sure you know this, but just roll with me. So brand is like your mark, your stamp, the staple. It's your reputation, right? So to speak, right? And that's not just in business. That's your reputation, like in personal, like who you are. Branding is what you do and the act of doing things that then contributes to your brand, of how you got to the brand. So when we talk about reputation and we talk about brand, I'm going to use that synonymous today. It's not really something that you give yourself, right? It is something that is given to you based off the experiences you've created, right? By interactions with you, by what you've shown, by how you show up. This is both in your personal life and this is also in business. Okay. So I really want to like kind of define the difference there. You have brand, which is not necessarily that you actually create, right? And then you have branding. Now you have a lot of influence in the branding. You have a lot of influence in being able to control the narrative of your brand, but just kind of understand the difference in that and where to put the focus on, right? So I'm putting the focus really on branding, what we can do to control the narrative of our brand. All right. So that's first thing. The second thing is many of us are women in business and we have been drilled that, to start thinking of the customer first and thinking about their experience and thinking about what's going to work for them and, what's the demographic and what magazines do they read and all of that. And that's wonderful and that's great. If you're not doing that, then another thing a lot of us do is start to look at logos and websites and colors and what this color means and just a whole lot of stuff. I'm not saying that stuff does not matter. It does. But I think one of the biggest things that we are not doing is really taking everything and making it personal. So before you're even looking at like your business, right, or a business to go into, or a job opportunity to kind of like go after, or whatever, it's really imperative that you do the work to understand who you are and to get yourself in alignment authentically. Because when you do that, it will take a lot of guesswork out of all these questions that you may have if deciding, to go into business, or what logo should I use, or what colors. You will know yourself so well to the core that it's just a matter of, yeah, I'll do that, or I'll do that, or someone comes to you like, no, thank you, that's not my brand, right? So that's the importance of it. That's how beautiful it is to have and to define a personal brand. Remember, we're not necessarily talking about your business. We're not necessarily talking about you in church or anything you do. We're actually talking about everything, and all those things, what they have in common is you. Okay. So again, like I said, we jump over ourselves, we go to business, we go to jobs, go to opportunities without taking the time to really do the work to make sure we even know what we want and who we are to the core. So I'm going to go over just a few steps that I take my customers through whenever we are defining that, so that they have clarity in who they are, clarity in bringing all the aspects of them together, and they don't feel torn all over the places, right? Like, I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I work corporate, I have a business, I'm in church. And a lot of times we can feel completely split, right? Not cohesive. And it can be exhausting. So that's the danger of it. We split in different directions. It's exhausting. And again, the beauty is that being aligned opens opportunities, right? Being aligned with yourself will align things to start coming to you. Trust and believe. So I'm not going to get all into the manifesting thing, but that's all part of it too. But when you are in alignment, when you've taken the time to really drill down and understand and do that core work, that's when things will start to come to you that are aligned to what makes you happy, that you won't get exhausted on, that you won't feel like I'm just split, I'm a different person in all these different elements. You'll feel like you are you cohesively, and everything will fall under that. So when I talk about making it personal, also in branding yourself and not your business. Now, if you've already have a business and it's branded, that's wonderful, that's fine. And you still can, kind of step back and brand yourself. Allow yourself to be the overarching brand or the overarching business, so to speak, right? Because it's going to give you freedom. It's going to give you freedom to have likes and opportunities that are very different from each other, right? So you don't feel like you have to hide one thing from another. I remember when I was in corporate and I also like ran and operated a boutique, and I was doing styling. I knew that a lot of my clients would also be on LinkedIn. But I had to have two separate LinkedIns. Like, one was Crystal Nichole, and then one was like, my government name and work. And it was exhausting. It was exhausting. And at least we're in the day and age now where, people are really rooting for entrepreneurs. People are really rooting for us to, to show up and be visible. And so that's what really drove this, is I wanted to be really cohesive in everything that I did. I didn't want to feel like I'm split. All right. So let me get into this because I can go on and on. Okay. So that's the beauty in being aligned. That's the beauty in a personal brand. It opens opportunities. It brings everything that is you together, right? You are that core of all of that. And it allows you to pivot, right? So say that you change your mind, or you want to do something else, or maybe you're looking at Forex, or maybe you're doing the tea or not doing the tea now. Whatever you decide to do, if you've branded yourself, if you've got the following behind you, then they're following you, right? Not necessarily each individual business. And then as you pivot, if you decide, I don't want to do that anymore and do something completely separate, they are already invested in you. So more than likely, they will follow you. And most importantly, you will feel that you're being your most authentic self. There's nothing worse than being in a business that you don't have love for anymore, or that you never had love in, but you weren't clear and you just decided to do something because it was about making money. All right. So there's 4 things. And of how you can have an aligned brand, how you can be very clear in that. The first thing is, what I've realized is a lot of times we are just copying from what we're seeing. Not necessarily that we're trying to do so intentionally, but we are just like doing what everybody else is doing the status quo, doing what it's expected. And when we do that, we start to put ourselves on autopilot, right? We look at webinars and workshops, and we download this and we sign up for this and all of that. And then we try to piecemeal what is going to be our business, or what is going to be how we step into anything. And so the biggest thing here is when I, work with someone is I want them to have a high level of awareness, a high level of being intentional in what they do, right? You can't change what you're not even aware of. So we really do a lot of core work. We first start with the core. We first start with, who are you? You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily who is your customer and that experience. Like, again, this is not about them. This is about you. Who are you? What are the things that you like? What is something that you want to do? What do you want people to feel about you or say about you? Are you even aware of what they say about you? So we really, I encourage you to really drill down into understanding who you are to the core. And with the understanding that that may change over time, and that's okay, but that's where it's got to start. Jumping into something simply because it will make you money is cool. It'll make you money, but it also will exhaust you, or it also will take away from your true talents because you're not putting your all in it, because you're not really aligned and connected with that. So the very first is core work, okay? Understanding that. And from that, then we're going to build. The next of having an aligned brand is working in your presence, understanding what presence is. What is the experience that you create for people when they're around you? Right? How is your attitude? Are you even aware of your attitude? Can you get along with people? Do people get along with you? Are you an introvert? I'm an introvert. Introvert, being an introvert and coaching, a lot of people think that doesn't match, but it does, because I now know what I need. And when I need to recharge, I know how to do that, right? But before, I ran from it because I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting exhausted. Because I didn't do the core work and find out, hey, I'm an introvert. And that's okay, right? So that's it. Presence. Understanding how you come off. Like when you walk in a room, what is that? What is your aura? Do you even know? How do you make people feel? Not how they make you feel, but how do you make people feel? And if you can't answer any of these questions, I really encourage you to, find someone that you can, that's going to be 100% real with you. That's going to tell you the real, not just stroke your ego, not just rub you on the back, but just like, yeah, girl, you off. Be open to it, because if we are not aware, we can't change it. All right. So first is core. Second is presence. And let me say one thing about presence. I am real big about being authentic, being who you are. It is okay to be who you are. And I know that's a big thing now, and it may be kind of like a trending word and all this and that, but you have to, when I say be real, I don't just say, I'm real, because everyone says that. I have broken down the word real, which means getting rid of extraness and lies in your life and to yourself. That's real. Rid of extraness and lies. If you do that, that is true authenticity. That is really being real. You've got to be open to peel back the layers and just be, right? All right. So in your presence, that's the one thing you can't fake. You cannot. Now you can fake even to yourself what you like and don't like. You can choose to not face it. You can fake, how the clothes you put on and how, you know what I'm saying? You can fake all of that, but presence is not anything that you can fake, because people are in tune, and you can walk in and out of a room and they can just feel your spirit. So you can't fake presence. So that's something you really need to pay attention to and understand what type of presence you give. Okay. Again, your presence is your attitude. It's your aura. It's that taste you leave in people's mouths. Someone can be around, everything's cool, and then when they walk out, it's just like, it's just something a little off. We've all been there, right? So that's it. Core presence. The next thing you need to be aware of is, what is your style? Now, when I talk about style, because this is actually how I even got into coaching, right? And how I got into personal branding. I started, I had a boutique, and then I started, went into being a stylist, both at Nordstrom and Saks, and helping women to kind of show up their best selves. So yeah, I am talking about clothing. What is your style? How do you present yourself? What do you like? What's your flavor? But that's when I say style, that's when I'm asking, what is your flavor? And it's not just clothing. It goes down to the car you drive. It goes down to, your office, how you have that set up. It goes to, just everything that speaks to you. Maybe, the house you're in, the car you drive, all of those things kind of dictate your flavor. Take inventory of that. Is that truly reflective of your core? That's reflective, that is going to show out in your presence. If it's not, do an audit and get that into alignment. Be aware of what that is. If you're speaking and you want to be a certain, be perceived in a certain type of way, but you're not showing up in that right presence, or you don't have the right style, so to speak, that's something that needs to be adjusted. Do you even know what your style is? Like, not the latest and greatest in trends. Do you know what your style is, right? What you like? Yeah. So we talk about core, presence, style, and then the last part that I bring in and I help them go through this transition is, now we can start talking about your passions. Now we can start talking about all the wonderful different facets that are you, the business that you're thinking about, your career, that next step. That's now when you can effectively start making decisions here. So one, if you do the core work, if you understand what your presence is and your style and your flavor, it may be that business that you started is not even in alignment with you, right? And if it's not, it's okay. But at least you will understand and you will know. You'll understand why maybe you're getting burnt out, or maybe no one is responding, or maybe you just don't have the impact that you had before. Is it in line with who you truly are? Because that's going to speak. That's going to speak out to your customers. That's going to speak out in your branding of your business. It's going to speak out if you change your logo 20, 50, 11 times or whatever. It's going to speak. So make sure that you understand all of those things and bring them to alignment. So your passions and your businesses and all the things that you want to do, no matter how different they are, right? They will all come back together because you are that defining thing. It was you who put yourself out there. And then through you, it's like, oh, what does she do? Oh, she does that and this. Like, you can have mixed audience simply because they are following you and not the many different things that you're doing, right? And then also, you'll be able to pivot. So again, with that, I have one more thing and then I'm going to wrap it up as far as understanding your brand and impact, right? Of how, if you're aligned and important. So like I said, I have been in fashion before, right? I still have a love for fashion and clothes and all that. Like, I love that. So imagine if I was to get a job or get offered a position as like a merchandiser or a fashion buyer or apparel buyer, but it was at Walmart. Now, hear me on this. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Walmart, but real talk, Walmart does not match my brand. It doesn't. Now, the opportunity would sound and be amazing, and 9 times out of 10, people would jump on it. But I do feel that you would get into that, and after a while, you would get burnt out really, really quickly, or that fire would leave you. Like, it's a great position, and it's a great company to have on your resume and all of that, but it's not in line with you. Walmart is not in line with my brand at all. I shop at Walmart, but it's grocery online. I don't, that's just not my brand. You know what I'm saying? Something like Target would more so be in alignment with my brand. I could go in there. I know I could shop. I know I could get, clothing and buy clothing that would then, be for everyone else to buy. And I could do that happily because it matches my brand. So that's the importance of understanding and knowing your brand, because when you know it, even opportunities that are coming to you, you won't just be jumping on things just to jump on it. You can easily say, you know what? That's a great opportunity, but it just doesn't match my brand. Okay. So that's the importance of having brand clarity and being aware and aligning yourself. Okay. So again, this is before the logos. This is before the colors. This is before, the pretty website, or before the picture that you take with a Mac computer, like that everyone does. It's before all of that. It is about understanding and knowing who you are to the core, so that when it's time to dictate to that graphic designer what your logo is, you can speak with clarity. And they say, well, tell me about yourself. You can say, well, hey, I'm this. This is what I want. And, all those, every time you get into a program and you have to go through that long, onboarding part where they're asking you, tell me about yourself, all this, that is going to come like that because you've done the core work and understand yourself as a personal brand. So that's it. I hope that you guys, can really absorb that and get something out of that. But like, to my core, I'm just going to tell you about me and how I am. I truly believe that everybody deserves to be seen and heard, right? Seen as in acknowledged, and heard as in understood. And I believe they deserve all of that, and they need to be seen and heard authentically as they truly are. And so that's my mission. That's why I do what I do. So, if this is something that you might need to kind of tap into and really kind of get an understanding, maybe do a self-audit. I encourage you guys to reach out to me, please. I have a free consultation. You can go to my website, which is crystalnichole.co. Crystal spelled just like the stone. Nichole has a H, Nichole.co. Follow me on social media. I have a wonderful group that's on Facebook where I go live on Thursdays and teach and kind of, share nuggets like this. It's called Aligned. So just go on Facebook and look for Aligned, Style, Presence, and Brand. But if you just type in Aligned, it's going to pop up. And then anything on social media, I'm on Instagram as Crystal Nichole Branding, or just Crystal Nichole. Just search that. I'm going to pop up. I would love to talk with you guys. I would love to have that conversation and help you to find clarity in all the things that are you, and to make sure that you are being represented authentically. So thank you again, and I hope to hear from you soon.